Welcome to Paranormal Crossings Into the Light. I am Aaron Collins, along with...
I'm Darren.
And I'm James.
Welcome to July 3rd already.
2021.
2021. Goodbye, 2021. I know we're just a little bit past half the year, but aren't we ready?
Oh, we're ready to go.
Oh my gosh. It's already that time.
What
a year. Oh my gosh. But here we are. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? COVID is in passing. The restrictions have been lifted.
Paranormal groups are coming out of their natural habitats to explore the wilderness.
Yes. Let's talk about that. Well, first of all, let's just kind of introduce ourselves and talk about a little bit about who we are, our backgrounds, and things like that. So,
Sure.
Well, obviously, you know me.
No, we don't.
Next. No. Aaron Collins, paranormal investigator. Obviously, that's why we are all here, all paranormal investigators. But aside from that, I've been doing this for 23 years. Also ordained minister, was in ministry and for a very long time, 10 plus years, but also, well, not just that, but that plays a big game in what I do now with helping with people with the paranormal team. You and I both have worked on the same team for many years.
A couple of years, yes.
And then we'll get into all that here in
Right.
just a little bit, but also with the Oregon Ghost Conference. And that's going to be a big topic with our show here in the very near future. With COVID, obviously, that kind of put a damper on things. But this year they did kind of pick it up and do a lot of virtual classes.
Yeah.
But Rocky Smith, who is the director and founder of the Oregon Ghost Conference, he still maintained and did do some tours. And so did Jeff Davis. But aside from that, I did start Paranormal Crossings, the original Paranormal Crossings. Paranormal Crossings has been through some phases.
It's evolving.
Evolved to what we are today.
Right.
This is the first time I've actually had 3 hosts for Paranormal Crossings. So that's what makes it so exciting for me.
Well, we're all friends, we're all brothers, we're all got each other's back.
Wait, friends?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you consider us? Oh, can we hold hands?
We're
family. On TV.
We are family. That's right. Yeah. Family show. So, but no, I agree.
Show, but, we are family.
Wait, you're right. No, but no, when I first started, it was Blog Talk Radio, and so it was great doing a podcast, and then to make the transition to television and /podcast. And then Paranormal Crossings into the unknown with you, my friend. And then we had our little stretch doing that. And then it evolved to Paranormal Crossings into the light, which this, for me, is exciting. I never thought that it would grow to what it has become as of today. And so I can't.
It's grown so much that you needed 2 extra co-hosts.
That's right.
If you think about your first one, just you, and then Paranormal Crossings into the unknown, there was 2.
Right.
Third iteration, there's 3 of us.
Right. And
no more. Right?
I did have a co-host with Paranormal Crossings, and then my wife became my co-host for Paranormal Crossings on television, and she's going to sit in, with us. When needed, and which would be nice. And we'll have a few others that'll sit in as guest co-hosts, in the future. But we'll get into all that at some other point in time. But yeah, it's been a great transition, and I've really enjoyed the people that I've co-hosted with and the guests. I have met so many wonderful people. The Oregon Ghost Conference really has opened my eyes, much more to the field, and met so many wonderful people. And that's really how you and I, in a sense, through the paranormal community, really,
right.
But then really grew to you loving me more was through the Oregon Ghost Conference. So, but no, I joke about it. But and that's how really you became a lead investigator with the Oregon Ghost Conference, as well as you also becoming a lead investigator with the Oregon Ghost Conference, as well as myself. And so being a planning committee member with the Oregon Ghost Conference. And so it's just been amazing. So, but let's not hear any more about me. Let's hear about yourself, Mr. Darren.
Okay, well, I've been doing this since 1995. Back before paranormal investigating, ghost hunting was popular, before it was the mainstream. Back to using an old, cassette track, reel to reel.
And a rotary phone.
And a rotary phone, yes. Back in the days, the dark ages of paranormal investigating.
That's right. I remember those days.
Oh, yeah. And then, there was the Klondike fundraiser. Fundraiser. Not
Yes.
enough caffeine. That we actually met at.
Right.
Which I actually was about ready to bow out of that one because I was just kind of at that point of, okay, paranormal investigation. I was kind of a little washed out with things.
Mm.
And then I think the Klondike really did kind of
reinvigorated.
Well, because in fact, we got voices talking to us. And during the debrief, we had something walking around the floor above us.
Yeah.
And it's
very active location.
Very active.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get in there sometime.
Well, and I had a lot of good people to help. Jay Verberg, to mention one, June Lundgren, fantastic people. Kristen Gray. I mean, I can't thank them enough for helping. But but let's just face it. I mean, the venue itself, the building, rich in history, and so it's just a fantastic place to investigate. And so we got a lot of evidence.
Well, St. Helens is just a dark and spooky place as it is.
Right. Yeah.
And it's Rivertown. It's there's the supposed Shanghaiing that was going on, the supposed brothel that was down on the shipyards, the supposed murders and everything else that was going on. But we don't talk about that.
No, definitely not, especially on this show.
No.
We'll never talk about secrets here.
Never.
When it comes to the paranormal. No.
But we met at the Klondike, updated all my equipment because the old stuff just wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
Got me a team together and went out and started hitting any place we can find. So, we've been lucky with our group that we've been able to do the City Hall. We've been able to do a lot of the historical buildings that normally you wouldn't be a chance to get into without knowing somebody.
Right.
So, and then of course there's this guy over here.
Me.
And then there's James.
It's James, right? Yeah.
There's James.
Well, I've been in the field about maybe 10, 15 years. Going to the conference, actually, the Ghost Conference, when it was in Oregon City.
Yeah.
So, I've been around it 10, 15 plus years and always wanted to get involved, have my own team. I've always been fascinated by the paranormal. I mean, I have now I'm in my second house that's got stuff going on.
Right.
Going to Ghost Conference in Seaside, Michael McNeil, excuse me, suggested that I start my own team. And I said, well, that's the plan, but, I want to start learning and understanding, the paranormal. And so every year I was going to the conference, I think I know about 3/4 of the people there now, it's a big old family.
Yeah.
So I finally ended up joining 2 teams. The first one, it was like, okay, we joined, nothing, no communication from nobody. And then of course, that's when I came along to your team and was there, and then last year broke out Guardian Angel Paranormal Society back in February last year. And of course, with COVID,
Yeah, right.
I think that was a bad time to break off and start my own team.
Well,
but,
I mean, if you look at the fact that 2019, we were all on a roll. We were Oregon Ghost Conference. We had cases lined up where we were all going to, and then 2020 hits, lockdown, boom.
Yeah.
We all we were off that roll. We're off that momentum.
Yeah. It changed everything for so many people. I mean, paranormal speaking, as far as for all the teams and everybody. Yeah, it changed a lot of things. And, but, that's where we put priorities into place. And then, but there's the planning stage,
Mhm.
gives you time with your, new team to plan things out as far as
Yeah.
buy new equipment, which you did.
Stop. No.
Wait, is your wife listening?
She
No, I'm
might
just
be.
kidding. uh, but and look into other things as far as the ghost
Mhm.
conference,
Right.
as far as the planning side of things, and new opportunities and things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah, and with my team, we're still new in a
Yeah.
sense as a group. We're looking to bring people on. Right now, it's just my wife and me.
Yeah.
Every now and then my stepdaughter when she's available. So,
Yeah.
if we can get people on, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
And now that we're coming out of all this, I'm sure people are looking to do something like that.
right.
So
Well,
They've been home all day.
exactly. And with everybody being home, they're able to witness more activity
yeah.
because of the fact that, normally on a normal day, you figure you get up in the morning, chug down some coffee and a breakfast, you're out the door, you're on the highway, you're on the freeway, you're going to work, and you're at work for 8 hours. And you come home and then you want to just relax. And then you're tired all the time. You're just rush. And on the weekends, you're going here, going there, going.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then COVID happens.
Shuts
Well,
everything down.
you can't go to the movies, can't
Yeah.
go to dinner, can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
So now you're home. Now you're going to start witnessing more of what's going on.
Yeah.
So hopefully, when everything is lifted, we'll have more cases.
Yeah. It's amazing how many cases I had to turn down because of COVID, because I'm more at risk because of autoimmune deficiency
Mhm.
diseases that I have. My wife too, and so it saddens me because some of them involved families, and we're about helping families, especially when it involves children. And so those that were able to help, I turned over to those that could help in that way. But now that things are getting better, as far as that goes, we're able to go back out and help again. So,
Yeah.
but the amount of people that I had to turn down, it was just sad. I hate turning down people
Right.
to help.
I mean, when I started a group, I think we only turned down one, and
Mhm.
it was due to the location and being so small,
Mm,
and with the COVID and all that. I just didn't feel comfortable,
yeah,
exposing them and myself and the wife to
Yeah.
that. So we have it rescheduled, and it's a friend of the wife's kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So
So so I got a question for you. So what was your what was your best case as far as the outcome? Everything was just like from front to back, just in everything in between. What was just like the best case? Whether it be just by yourself as far as your own team, or all of us together, or ghost conference, whatever.
I would have to say the best case of I've ever had would probably be the Tiger Demon House.
Tiger Demon. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
that one.
yeah,
That
yeah.
one.
That was
It was just because of the fact that what the box was saying, the SB11,
right.
and the things that were coming out of that were just I've never heard before, and they was just so crystal clear. And then we had the shadow creeping up the hallway.
Mhm.
Yeah, that case, I'm so torn on that one. I mean, because you and I were talking there, and at that
Mhm.
time, we were kind of wondering if the people in there were actually causing it.
Mhm.
I was kind of, is this real, or are they just, trying to fake something or whatnot? So I was kind of on
Yeah.
the fence, but yeah, that's
It was the lady at the house, by the way.
Causing it. That caused
yeah,
it.
yeah.
She was in the
think-
black magic. The owner of the house had no idea.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
So,
Because after we
Yeah.
cleansed it and everything else, it kept going on for a little bit. I helped him out as much as I could, and then he finally broke down and asked. And she goes, "Oh yeah. I practice witchcraft." There's the door.
Which would have been nice to have known beforehand.
Right.
But we suspected. But then with the audio still being on, and then when we walked out,
Yep.
and then having the conversation that they had, we're like, oh, really?
Yeah, it kind of
So-
changed the.
Not that we were trying to spy, but that
No.
but the audio was
it
left
changed
on.
the way we finished the investigation.
It
there.
did, definitely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of a crazy investigation
So-
for sure.
But I mean, of course, we also got the Klondike. That was a good investigation.
That was difficult in the sense that wasn't your normal traditional investigation because I had it as a fundraiser, so obviously for a great cause, but there was a lot of people, and you kind of we had to move things in
Along,
a certain direction, and we were under a time
Time frame,
limit, time frame, and so it was a little bit different. But yeah, the evidence was crazy.
Yeah. it was.
And you and I had experience in
Wow, yeah.
one of the rooms that
in
were
the back
upstairs.
room up
Yeah,
there, yeah,
that was crazy.
really cold spot area.
Yeah. But yeah, what a great location. What about you? What was?
I'm kind of torn. The bridge tender. My first time there,
Yeah,
the bridge
what
tender
a
was
great
just
spot.
fabulous. Hearing the history about it, and then you're like, oh, gotta go.
Yeah,
That I kind of go with that one, but ultimate favorite I have to go with is the Stanley Hotel.
oh man, yeah. I can't even
I
imagine.
did a mini, a little mini investigation there, and some of the claims that they've reported literally are true.
Like what gives some examples? What happened to you?
Like the children on the fourth floor,
Mhm.
running up and down the corridor, bouncing a ball.
Wow.
They woke me up in the middle of the night. I looked out in the corridor, nothing there. One of the hotel people was coming up out of the elevator and asked if everything was all right. I said, yeah, I heard kids playing up here. He's like, that's one of the reported things that go on.
And no kids were
No
on that
kids.
floor, or
No.
wow.
And then another thing there, when we checked in, no joke, my wife and I were busting a gut laughing about this. We got our room key, went up to the room. The key wouldn't work. Okay. We tried it multiple times. So, okay. And wouldn't let us in. We went downstairs, say, hey, card's not working. And they're asking if, we had it next to anything magnetic or whatever. We're like, no. So he gave us another key, had one of the hotel people go up to the room with us. And the guy goes, sometimes you have to knock to ask for permission.
Are you serious?
enter.
That's great.
He knocked twice, ran the card, the door opened.
Wow.
I'm like, so we have to ask permission to enter the rooms now.
Wow. That's crazy.
So yeah,
I
I'm
love
kind
it.
of torn between those two.
Well,
it was great.
You realize that for a while there, we were getting really close to the madam at the bridge tender.
Yes.
I mean,
sure.
we were getting to know her very well. We owe her a date. Because the last time we were upstairs,
Oh yeah.
I think you were leading a team and you were at the Seaside Salts,
Mhm.
and him and I were upstairs, and we kind of walked in because I thought I saw something in the doorway, and I'm not sure if he was following me or he saw it too, but as we walked in, it just like something was reaching into our stomach and just gripping, and I'm doubled over, he's doubled over,
Yeah.
and I apologize. I'm sorry, madam. I didn't pay. I'll go back to the front. And it kind of released, and I backed out of that area, and I was okay. I feel fine over here, which was like, I guess you would call it the lobby area of the brothel. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just when we entered in, I guess without announcing herself or
Right.
something, she was basically saying paying customers only.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So we owe her and
Yeah.
we owe her
Just
another day.
when you go out on that date, just don't play ABBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll ruin it for her. So
Well, they got rid of the
Well-
jukebox.
what did they really?
Well, they got that newfangled stuff now. The one that was in there, yeah, they got rid of that.
Gotcha. All right. Well.
Okay. The ABBA.
The ABBA. Yes.
So
Are we going to go into a long story about ABBA?
it's a short
Oh, okay.
short story about ABBA and the
All right.
bridge tender.
Okay.
So when I was leading a little group over towards the bathroom area,
Mhm.
I think you had people over in the billiard area.
Yeah.
One of the guys decided he was going to be crazy. And I look over and he's doing something with his phone.
Mm.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Hang on. And he plays Dancing Queen. I'm like,
Oh,
are
no.
you kidding me?
How disrespectful. Come on.
So he hits Dancing Queen. The SB7 starts screaming.
Wow.
It's one continuous scream.
Wow.
And I'm like, you might want to turn that off. And you might want to turn it off now. And he's like, yep, okay, I'm done. Turns it off, puts his phone back in his pocket. And he's like, I didn't believe. I'm good.
Wow. I'm surprised he didn't get scratched, pinched, pushed, shoved, whatever.
Well, the minute that box started screaming,
He was a believer.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just one solid scream.
Yeah. But that irks me though, because, we tell that during the tour or during the investigation or a pre-investigation that, she doesn't like it. And so they don't play it for a reason. And for somebody to do that, that's just disrespectful, and we all have the same belief that, you treat them with respect, spirits, that is, with respect. And so to go in and do something like that,
yeah.
So it just bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me a lot. Yeah. But anyway, so Stanley Hotel, that is on my list.
No, that's definitely the bucket list.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, definitely on my list of places to go.
Yeah.
So
I've been there 3-4 times.
Oh, let's just brag.
I am.
Let's
I'm going
just
to.
brag about it, James. All right.
But what about you? What about your?
Well, this is not a case, but I investigated because I did tours there, Shanghai tunnels. Let me tell you.
Is this a long story or short?
2 words for you. Shut up.
I got 2 words for you.
Family show. Oh, wait. No, it's not. No. Let me tell you, that place is extremely haunted. I mean, you've been on the tour.
Yes.
You've been on the tour. And all the times that I was there as a tour guide, not only was I a tour guide, but I was also, I was there as a paranormal investigator as well. And, he asked me, anytime you have time to investigate, please do it, and so he gave me that blessing. So as a paranormal investigator, who's not going to do that? Right. Sure, after doing the tours, is tired and you get a little, you work there in a sense. So, how much time do you really want to spend investigating? A lot. And so I did. And there were times, I saw apparitions. I was touched. I was grabbed on one occasion in front of other people. For instance, there is a story about mysterious Billy Smith, who is a famous boxer here in Portland. Dirty boxer. Wasn't that big, maybe 5'6" or so. But he was the kind of guy who would bite the ear off the opponent. He was just that dirty, bare knuckle fighter. Mm-hmm. But anyways, he became a Shanghaier, and but he would steal people that were Shanghaied by other Shanghaiers and literally go and grab them out of their cells and drag him to his own cells. It was just nasty. And so anyway, I was preparing to learn about him and how to do the paranormal tours for Halloween. So as I'm listening to the story and listening to the actual tour by another tour guide with 2 of our tour assistants, we were just sitting in this one section, nothing behind me but a wall behind us. We were sitting on this bench. And as she's going on about mysterious Billy Smith and how he would go and grab these other guys that had been Shanghaied from these other Shanghaiers and drag them to a cell or his own cells, as she's talking and explaining how he would do this, I felt a hand grab my shoulder, but it was like this, and it scared the living hell out of me. And I jumped up and yelled. And as I did, of course, I scared the 3 females that were with me, and the 2 jumped off the bench right along with me. But I tell you what, it's not often that I would get scared down there because I was so used to all the spirits. After working down there for almost a year, giving tours and seeing apparitions, being touched, having my name called out or having whispers, that scared the living hell out of me. And I believe it was mysterious Billy Smith. With the strength of that grab, that hand, it literally scared the living hell out of me. It took me a while to get past that. I mean, every time I go back down there, I'd think about that. I'd see that section, even during tours. And I'm like, yeah, how am I going to react if that happens again? But I always thought, I'd see his apparition or something down. I never saw him, but I believe that was him, that he was down there. But yeah, it was crazy. There was a lot of times I had my shoes tied, or my laces untied, I should say. I had to start double tying my shoes. That didn't work. I would still, during a tour, I'd feel something. I'd look down and my shoes laces were untied again. Goes along with the story I'll tell some other time on another show. Lots of crazy stuff down there. So active, just so active. There's a main water pipe that runs through there, and we all know about water. It being, who was it that said, "Oh, he talks with his hands all the time"? Yeah, I do. It acts as a superhighway. It's a conductor. Yeah, a conductor for spirits, and so I believe they just jump on, come through, some of them, and leave. Some are stuck down there. Paranormal highway. That's right. And so, but with the good comes the bad too. There's a lot of spirits that aren't so nice that would come down there too. So, but every time I would go down there, I always started with, "All right, guys, it's Aaron. I'm here to get ready for the tour. Here are the rules. You can touch people appropriately. Please don't follow me home. Please don't follow any of the people on the tour home or anyone else that works here. And just have fun, have a good day, and just God bless you all." And and I always started every day I came there like that. And so, and I think because I did that, they respected me. They didn't hurt me. They didn't follow me home. And so my experiences were good, except for that one where I was grabbed that one time. But other than that, it was, just things I saw and felt and things like that. But guests that were on the tour, oh my gosh, the pictures that they would send me were just fantastic. Some of them, I got great video, great pictures. I mean, all kinds of great stuff. But yeah, fantastic place. But that was my all time, just because I spent so much time there, just hours and hours upon hours.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's my all-time favorite. But yeah, the Tiger location, that was a good one. But yeah, we've done so many investigations. It was interesting, the one that we went to up in, where was that, up in Washington?
Hoquiam.
Yes, Hoquiam. Yeah. That was an interesting investigation. Probably not my all-time favorite, but it was interesting.
I know we have an invite to go back.
Oh, do you? Same house?
Yeah, same house.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't say this. Moving along. So, but I know that we have a lot of guests coming up on this show. We've got Rocky Smith that'll be coming up in the near future, the founder and director of the Oregon Ghost Conference. So very much looking forward to him coming in. Great friend, wonderful person. Nicole Strickland from San Diego Paranormal Research. She's coming. Will be on, well, not coming in because she's in San Diego, but virtually. The powers of the internet. June Lundgren, demon seer, psychic medium, world-renowned author. She'll be coming in. Christina George, also from California. She's got her own podcast. She's going to be coming and appearing on our show. Jeff Davis, he's also a wonderful man, a paranormal investigator, author. We've got just some great shows, great people, just great conversations. And we encourage you, our audience, to message us. Send in your questions, requests. We want to hear from you. We'd like to know what's on your mind. What do you want to know? What do you think? Same? All right. We're going to be talking about Pisgah House, and Bigfoot coming up soon.
And we are back. Paranormal Crossings into the light. Aaron, before the break, you brought up Pisgah House.
I did. So you were the mastermind behind our little adventure that we took up way up in the mountains.
Way up in the backwoods of Columbia County.
That's right. We're not going to mention the location, but man, what a day though. That honestly, that was fantastic. I mean, we bunch of guys out in the woods with no guns. But no, it was great, man. And why don't you talk a little bit about Pisgah House, the history? And I know you could go on for hours.
Yeah, I
But
could. Well, Pisgah House dropped in my lap, literally. It was just dropped in my lap. Somebody in passing, which seems to be about 9/10 of how things go with me.
right.
Hey, you ever heard about the Pisgah House? You have my attention. Oh yeah, it's up in the backwoods. Okay.
Now
What's
you
your name?
really have my attention.
Well, it was some guy, and he's like, well, I go up there and I go hunting, and I saw a figure standing on the hillside, and then I heard somebody calling my name. Okay, do you want to go on record with this stuff? Well, no, I gotta go. The wife's waiting for me, and then he's gone. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. Now you've started something, and you haven't even been able to finish it.
Now we're talking about a fairly small town.
It's a very small town.
And so, had you ever seen this guy before? Was this
I
a
have
grocery store, restaurant?
It was a grocery store.
Wow.
Never saw him before.
How did he end up talking to you about it? Did you have your team shirt on or something? Or
No, he just
what? Out of the blue?
out of the blue. Just turn
Something
around.
led him to him.
Yeah.
Had to.
Divine intervention,
That's it.
Yeah.
or somewhat. But anyways, get on with your
So-
story. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So then went down the rabbit hole. Okay. Got online, was like, all right, what's the Pisgah House? What's going on here? And then suddenly the local historical society posted pictures of what it used to be and then what it is now. And I'm like, okay, the story's just getting weirder and weirder. So oddly enough, 4th of July, 2 years ago, actually no, 3 years ago, we're downtown St. Helens. We're getting ready to watch the fireworks. Some guy with the historical society, again, never seen him before. He doesn't work there anymore. Just some dude. He's leading the tour around town. Hey, yeah, there was a hanging here, and this building was this, and that building was that. And then he turns around and goes, we got boxes of stuff for Pisgah House. You should come take a look.
Oh.
What? What? I'm sorry. What's your name? My name's Chris. I work for the Historical Society. Okay. How do you know I'm interested in Pisgah House?
Out of the blue, this guy walks up to you and tells you this,
Well,
or this is on the tour?
This is on the tour.
Okay. Had you mentioned Pisgah House?
I had not even mentioned Pisgah House.
What are the chances?
But it was just odd.
Sister-in-law.
Does not work with the guy. The sister-in-law works for City Hall, not the Historical Society.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
So, I mean, just to have
I
this,
don't know this part of the story.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I know about the stuff, but not.
Yeah. But no, he's walking through, and he's basically in 1932 there was a hanging here, and in 1914 this building was used for a mortuary, and 1917 over here this happened over here, and somebody was killed here, and it just like a horror movie.
Mm.
You're the one asking about Pisgah House. We have boxes of stuff. What?
It's in my hunting cabin. You want to see?
It was weird because it was, he's doing oh God, St. Helens is founded in the We have Pisgah boxes. You must come look. Okay, how do you know that I'm asking about this stuff? How do you know I'm interested in this stuff? I know. Okay. And the tour wraps up. I mean, this is the last minute of the tour.
Mm.
I mean, we're walking back to the old courthouse staircase where the tours begin and end. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. You must come to the Historical Society. Talk to Anne. She'll help you. Okay. And your name is? My name is Chris. Okay. Chris. All right. Do the 4th of July. I'm watching the fireworks going, what the hell's going on?
You can't even enjoy the fireworks.
I can't even enjoy the fireworks.
right?
My brain is scrambled. okay. Following weekend, I get off of work. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to down to the Historical Society opens at 10. I'm going to go in. I go in. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I represent such and such group. I want to know about the Pisgah House. I was told to ask for Ann. Oh, yeah. Ann's in the back room over there. Who told you to come here? Chris. Who? Chris. He's a volunteer. He works here. He told me to come talk to Ann. We don't have a Chris working for us.
I knew it. I knew it. I've seen this movie.
Yes, and now we have gone up into the woods.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
you led us up into the woods based on somebody named Chris who doesn't even work for the wow.
Doesn't even work.
May not even really exist.
That's right.
So
I like it.
Ann gives me a couple cookie crumbles. It's not even crumbs. It's just because she's writing a book about it, so she doesn't want to give too much information away.
Right.
Understandable.
But she gives me some information. Then I have to start looking. That's when I got a hold of you guys and said, it's up this road and over on that road.
Somewhere.
Right.
Right.
So we're going to take the trucks and we're going to go out there. Now, the weekend, I think it was about 2 weekends before we all went, the wife and I went up there in her car and we got snowed out. We couldn't go any further, which was weird because springtime, there shouldn't be snow that far up, especially that thick of snow.
It was a sign.
There was a sign. Don't
you
go up
took
yet.
your wife. Sorry, Kayla.
It's wrong turn all over again. So then, yeah. So there was that wonderful, happy drive that we all took.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Going a quarter mile at a time.
Oh, my gosh. That was the longest. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways. Good thing we had trucks, though.
Yeah.
Was it your brother that was just too scared to take the...
Some of the roads were a little dicey for him.
Yeah.
I mean, guaranteed they were a little dicey.
They were. I'm not saying anything about that. I mean, that was kind of hairy.
Yeah.
And then people shooting.
Yeah.
Target practice off to the left.
Right.
Like, holy moly, man.
Oh, yeah. One of the shots ricocheted up top and hit a tree above me as I was reconning the route. And I was like,
next time, ATVs.
Well, now we know which way to go. It's the back way.
Yeah.
That's easier.
ATVs or horses. I'm just saying. All right. So we get up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get up there and it's just, you remember, it's just a pile of rubble off to one side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Base of a chimney and all that there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean.
It was wild, though.
So, yeah, that was, I really don't have my notes. Formed in 1920, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Just this woman who built a place up in the woods for the downtrodden and the forgotten and injured men from war. And Portland was paying her a lot of money to just basically come into town and go, okay, well, you see those guys over there where they're the homeless and they're drunk and we need to get rid of them. And then they would swoop them up and say, all right, come with us. We're going to put you somewhere. And every time that they mention Pisgah House, they're always saying how it was this heavenly place to be. That we're doing the Lord's work up here. But then when you look at the pictures, the whole second floor is just all beds. Nobody had a room.
Yeah.
It was just like 100 beds, 100 mattresses stacked next to each other all the way down. And I mean, the story just continues to get creepier and creepier and creepier, no matter how much they want to portray her as being a saint.
But wasn't she more high society? Like some of the pictures that we saw where she was more with high society, but yet these people were living like they're in a hostel, with all the beds.
And it wasn't just the main house. They had other outbuildings there as well.
Because they were bringing families up and saying, here, we'll give you this parcel of land. You build your stuff, but you have to grow your own crops and everything else. And, they would go down to Portland on that wonderful, happy logging road to get, what they couldn't grow, what they couldn't make.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the place is just weird. I mean, we found the crystal
on the tree stump. Yeah.
On the tree stump. And then, one of our ex-members thought he heard a woman calling his name.
Yeah, I mean, he
Oh,
was
yeah, I remember that.
convinced.
Well,
But I also heard
and I
a
thought
female
I
voice,
heard it
and
as well.
you also
Yeah.
heard a female voice. But then we went walking around. But well, let's not get into
Okay.
the other thing yet. But when we were out, kind of separated, was I walking with you, or was I walking with the ex-member? I can't remember.
I think it was you and I.
And I heard a female in the woods that yelled, and I mean, I couldn't believe it. I thought, I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there was no way, no way. But yeah, I mean, I never saw her. I didn't hear anybody walking, but it was a female that yelled. And then you heard a female, he heard a female. And I mean, we did get some voices on the SB7, the one you brought.
Yeah.
That kind of cleans up the back noise, things like that. But nothing significant.
Well, actually, it did give us a name, and when I checked it against those that had
Oh, that's
passed,
right.
because we went looking for the cemetery.
Yes. Yeah,
There-
that's why we wandered around, because
Yeah.
we were
You
looking for that
a
cemetery.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
They did. The Historical Society put up everybody that's been buried up there
Right.
on their website, all those files that I was not allowed to look at because she was waiting for her book to be published.
Has it been published yet?
I don't know.
Okay. I'd be interested to see it, though.
I would too, but I know she'd probably paint Mama Lawrence as a saint.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything that you look at, it's like when it comes time for press day, she's putting on her, the farmer clothes, the long gowns, the aprons.
Oh, yeah.
But then you find other pictures of where she's dressed in the nines in high society here in Portland at some big, fundraiser to do. Her granddaughter actually went on record with somebody else. I got to read the official statement that no, Grandma didn't live up in Scappoose. Grandma lived in Portland.
Mm.
She'd always lived in Portland. They had a guy take care of the house over there. She was getting money for it and trucking people over all the time.
Mm.
And then
But wasn't she killed up there? By a car accident, I believe it was.
they like to say that it was over that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But if she was not up there that often,
Then
and she didn't live up there, she's buried here in Portland.
cover up.
Yeah. But yeah, so then when we went looking for the graves, we stumbled upon just craziness.
Yeah. We walked around.
Went from basically
all over the place.
Yeah, went from one idea being the Pisgah House
Yeah.
to a whole nother subject altogether.
That was a whole new level of investigating. That was like, what did I sign up for? Yeah, that was who. Okay, so who was it? The ex-member or your brother that found that spot, or you?
That was me.
That was you that
That
found that
was
spot.
me and my brother that went down that road.
Okay.
My brother kept going all the way down,
Yeah.
and on Google Maps,
Because you were looking for the cemetery.
I was looking for the cemetery. I was still in paranormal mode.
Right.
I
We
did-
all were. That's
was
what we
not-
were doing
yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I was not slipped over to cryptid mode.
No.
My switch was still ghosts, spirits,
Right.
things that go bump in the night. What the hell's going on here?
Mystery about this whole house, just that whole thing, and then the history, all that's going through my mind, and so then you call on the radio, guys, get over here, you got to get over here, and so we all come over there, and then tell us what you found.
Well, as I'm walking along and I'm videotaping because, I got to videotape everything.
Right. Well, of course
as
you have
investigators,
to. Yeah.
we
Right.
videotape everything.
Of course.
Yeah, we had multiple video cameras going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm walking down the road and I'm just videotaping and I'm talking just because we are in cougar country. And we don't need no cougars to be stealing away team members while we're stumbling through the woods looking for something that may not even exist.
Right.
And rocks are being thrown at me from up on the hill. And at the time, I'm not paying attention. Again,
Because they're not hitting you.
well, they're going around me, behind
Right.
me, in front of me, the side of me, but I'm still in paranormal mode. So I'm not thinking cryptids and Bigfoots and everything else. And I'm tracking out on the map. Okay. All right. Well, it says the cemetery's right there. There's nothing there. So I go down the hillside a little bit, and that's when we find the nests. We find branches broken and shaped odd, and I call you guys. You guys all come along. We start doing the hoops and the hollers, and we keep getting replies back.
Now let's get back to the nest. Okay, so I've never done a Bigfoot investigation.
Yeah.
Have you?
No.
No, have you? Prior to that?
No. This
No.
was the first.
Yeah.
So we're all basically peeing our pants because me, number one, is Bigfoot going to kill me? Am I going to see him right now? Are we dead? What's going to happen? You know, in reality, you know, honestly, yeah, I was nervous. You know, here we are in the middle of the woods, and what are we going to face? Really, what are we going to face? But then the excitement of, holy shit, here we are in the middle of the woods. What are we going to find? But I mean, this is obviously a nest. I mean, everything I have read about, everything I have seen, you know, about Bigfoot.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember standing there with you, taking pictures, you know, and video, and just going, "Oh my God, is this for real?"
Well, the way the branches
That was incredible.
intertwined, you can't. It's unexplainable. The only way it could happen is if Sasquatch, Bigfoot, did that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a tree do S curves, twist and around other branches, and say that's natural. That is not natural.
No.
Well, I
Not in that way.
And on the hill that it was, and on the incline, you know, that it was, there was just no way. And why would any human do that?
Right.
I mean, for what purpose? Obviously.
And if you had looked as well on the ground in that area, looked like something had been laying there. It was all matted down.
Yeah.
You know, like smooth versus what everything around it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, now see, I took the pictures and everything to Squatch Fest before the lockdown.
Right.
And they had the guy from local.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a team from the Olympic Bigfoot Project, I believe it is.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right. So I showed one guy the video and the pictures, and he said, "Oh no, that we don't have any documentation that Bigfoot actually set up teepees and everything else."
Teepees.
Well, it kind of looks like a teepee.
I know, but
it kind of
refer
looks
to
like
it as a teepee. That's
he's
kinda
like, okay,
stupid.
well,
Come
okay,
on.
now this might be this, and this might be this, but since you don't really have anything, and then I showed him the video of your thermal and that big object sitting over there, and he's like, okay, well that might be something. It's not a bear.
Mhm.
It's too big to be a bear. It's too big to be a wolf or cougar or deer or whatever. And
We haven't even talked about that part yet.
no, I haven't.
But anyway, go ahead.
But so he was like, okay, yeah, it might be this. So I took it over to the Olympic Bigfoot Project. I showed them, and they're like, well, we don't really have any clear documentation that Bigfoot does all that. But if you look inside of the teepee, what do you notice? I'm like,
The ground.
the ground is not. It's been brought in,
disturbed matted down.
It was been matted down, but it's articles of construction that have been brought from one location to another.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm looking around, I'm seeing all the plants in your pictures, and the plants are inside of this thing, are not in anything else with the picture. It's like what you have is something is sleeping here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's bringing in plants
from out of area
to make a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, these are pine needles. This is this is that.
Right.
Look at everything else in the picture. You got ferns, you've got grass, you got flowers. You don't have pine needles, pine boughs. What's in there is a bed. And then of course, he gave me his card and said, if you guys get any hairs or anything, I've got people that can analyze them for you.
Nice.
But we've not been back since.
But Two things. We are going to go back.
Yes.
And we are going to be prepared to take samples. We are going to be prepared this time, but we didn't know. I mean,
No,
that's
we
not
didn't
why
know
we
at
were
all.
up there. It's not
Absolutely.
like we
Right.
thought, oh, are we going to stumble upon a Bigfoot den, or anything like that. But as investigators, you grow. That was the first time in my 23, 24 years of doing investigations that I ever stumbled across anything like that. So, and you too, so either one of you. So now we know, and so we'll be better prepared. Anytime we go into the woods, we need to be prepared for anything,
Bigfoot
aliens, or or what?
Bigfoot,
Yeah,
Bigfoot kit.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we
kit.
need to be prepared for anything. But
Well, especially if we're going back up there.
oh yeah, of
When
course.
we go back to Pisgah, we got to have that dual switch on a rocker and just be prepared to switch over.
That's right. But the other thing is the figure that we saw across that ravine on the other hill, and that's when I videoed your flare that we were catching, and that figure obviously was not a bear. Bears aren't going to stand behind a tree, peek around at you, and then put their head back and then peek around again and do the same thing. And that's what that figure was doing. And that was exciting to me, to see that firsthand. Though I still can't.
Well,
we can't say that was a Bigfoot because we don't know.
Correct.
We couldn't see it clear enough. I mean, I don't know. How far do you think that was? How many yards do you think that was? It has
50.
About 50 probably.
You think?
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe a little bit farther than that, but yeah, we'll go with that. 50,
Well,
75. I
there
thought
were
maybe it was close to 100, but maybe 75. I would say
there were 3 of them in there.
three.
There
What?
was
3 creatures.
Yeah.
Three?
There was
more
one
than
on the hillside that was behind us
Yeah, I knew that.
because he was throwing rocks at my brother.
Okay, now that's different then, because I'm only
there was-
referring to the one across.
Right.
Okay, well,
we were
we were surrounded.
We were
Now you
surrounded.
tell me. I'm glad you told me now.
We had the one throwing rocks behind us.
Yeah.
We had one that had got up, run across the meadow, dropped down in front of the old skeptic,
hmm
and then him and the thing were eyeballing each other. And that's when skeptic was like, I don't know what it is, but I see it, and it's looking over this log and was
Yeah.
doing this
Okay,
number.
you're right. I do remember.
And then we
that.
had
Okay.
the other one that we were all focused on
Yeah.
that was looking around.
Okay, I do. Okay.
Like
yeah.
a little family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have been.
Well, the
You
thing
know.
is, again, random encounters in
Yeah.
the store. Woman walks up to me, sees my Bigfoot tattoo, goes, "Oh, hey, you like Bigfoot?" Yeah, I'm an investigator. And, oh, yeah, well, we got a family of them out back at Scappoose. I go, yeah, I know. I saw them a couple of years back. Oh, well, did you know they're having fights with the dogmen up there? I'm sorry.
Did you say
What?
dogman?
You said dogmen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dogmen. You know, kind of like a werewolf, but they don't change. It's about 8 feet tall. Okay, you have my attention. Well, you see, I own a big farm out there, and I can see them on just the outskirt of the back field off my back porch. And I'll see the family, and I'll go out and I'll put apples and other stuff out for them. And then the Bigfoot will come out and they'll take them, and then they'll go on their merry way. But the other night I was out there, and they were throwing rocks and logs at a dogman that was standing on the other side of the field.
Okay, what's a dogman?
Yeah.
Dogman?
A dogman.
Dogman. She's talking like she's talking about, setting out
Oh,
bait or whatever for Bambi and Bambi's family or something. She's
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Bigfoot. Bigfoot. Let's get past that first. Okay, let's
She's
address
just going
that.
on
She's talking about no, Darren. She's talking. We're not talking about Bambi and Bambi's family here. We're talking about Bigfoot. Bigfoot,
But
like it's a normal thing.
Apparently it is.
It's a normal
thing.
thing.
For her.
She lives where in Scappoose?
In the backwoods of Scappoose, probably.
Okay, now that
we can't
explains
go-
it.
we can't go
That
find her.
explains it though.
We
What-
need to find
We
her.
need to find her and talk to her. I'm not kidding. You're right on the money there. Okay,
Right. But
so
the-
she's feeding Bigfoot and Bigfoot's family.
Right.
The question is why?
Are they called Big Feet,
I don't know.
or is it just Bigfoot?
We need to get a Bigfoot expert in here.
We do, and that is going to be another person or people that we're going to add to our guest list, which we've already talked about.
Right.
I still can't get past it. She's feeding Bigfoot
she's
and Bigfoot
feeding
family.
them.
But why? That's the
Because-
question.
Is this
Because
normal? Is this the
apparently-
new
Right.
normal? So now we're not paranormal, it's normal?
I don't know.
Where-
Apparently, COVID hit. She was stuck in the house,
She was lonely.
lonely, putting out food for him, just like you.
So she sits in her house and she's talking to spirits like normal. Okay. So that's becoming normal nowadays. Okay. So, and then she's
She's
feeding Bigfoot family. And then they're mad because Dogman
It's
and
approaching their-
Dogman's family wants to eat too. But now they're having a feud with Bigfoot and Bigfoot family.
Well, apparently the dog.
What is going on? What has happened? COVID has brought a lot of shit out. Let me tell you.
Apparently,
And
what's going
part of that is animal people. There's animal people running around Portland and the suburbs. Andrew, did you know about this? Something is going on. I'm telling you, we're off kilter here.
Apparently, what's been
Aliens
going on,
are now in office, and
apparently what's been going on
holy
Is-
crap, man!
as the town pushes back into the woods. Apparently, like every other animal has their territorial range. They have their own little areas that they stick to. Cougars will go be in their area.
Mm.
Bears will be in their areas, et cetera, et cetera.
Bigfoot has his area. Dogman has his doghouse area.
Exactly. And apparently what's going on is the lady's basically saying that it's a turf war.
Right.
The dog man or men, or how many there are pushing their way over into the Bigfoot territory. And the Bigfoot are like, no, we don't want to go anywhere. So
Now you ran into her where?
I ran into her at Fred Meyer's. It was random.
Just one time at Fred Meyer.
One time at Fred Meyer's.
You have all these people that come up to you just out of nowhere.
What do you wear at the
Yeah,
stores? Do you wear a
please.
hat? Says, please talk to me if you're into the paranormal
Sometimes,
or the normal.
well, sometimes I wear my team hat.
Okay.
So, and then of course, I got it
Right.
tattooed on my arm.
Right.
So, and I got a Bigfoot. So apparently I've got tattoos or
Man.
something that just
Damn.
draws it. So she's telling me all this.
We have got to hang out with you more.
Right?
That's how we're going to get guests on the show and more topics is hang out with Darren in backwoods towns of Oregon. So that's what we need to do next.
Hey, the world
So.
is strange and it just gets stranger.
Man, that is just insane. We have got to get her on the show. We got to find her.
Yeah,
That's your mission, not ours. You're going to camp out. You don't even have to camp out. You just need to go get some toilet paper. So
It's a
Darren's going to
small
go
town
get some
for
feminine
crying out loud. You
products
should be able to
and
find her.
right. Yeah,
Trying.
exactly. So we're going to take another short break.
All right.
And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Bigfoot and dog. I want to hear more about Dogman.
Okay.
So, and then James will bring us back from break next.
All right.
All right. So thanks for sticking with us. Paranormal Crossings Into the Light. Aaron Collins, Darren Scholl, and James Mitchell.
All right, welcome back to Paranormal Crossings Into Light. We're going to continue our discussion here with Darren and the Dogman versus Bigfoot battle that's going on here.
And any other animal people you can come
Right?
up with. Bunny people. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you look at the whole list of cryptids out there,
Yeah.
there's human-sized rat people. There's
Mothman.
Mothman, personal favorite of mine. One
Yeah.
of these days, I want to get back to West Virginia, go to Point Pleasant.
I mean, I joke around and make fun and stuff, but these are real sightings.
Yeah.
People have really seen these things, and so and that's the beauty about this show is that we have the opportunity now to really dig in deep to all of these topics and get real people on the show, real experts, I should say. I'm no way an expert on any of that stuff. Obviously, we just stumbled, onto this Bigfoot den, and we're like, and so we took our pictures and stuff, and did what we could,
Right.
and then you guys took it to the experts from there, and I still sat at home going, but I'm really interested, and so I want to, as James said, let's hear more about this dog man.
All right. So the lady, I put my stuff down, and I don't want to say I stalked her out to the parking lot, but I needed to know more.
Right.
What
Don't
she
blame
told me in the line was just like, "You're just gonna why? Why are you leaving me hanging?"
You were stalking.
No, that's called creeping.
That's
You were
I was
creeping on her.
I was putting my stuff down. Don't pay for it.
Then you found out she didn't even exist. He gets out to the parking lot.
Yeah,
and
she's
not
gone.
even there.
She's
Yeah.
gone.
Another person.
I was not that far behind
Dang.
her.
Okay, wait a minute. I was kidding. Wait, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay,
I
so this
told you.
Chris dude doesn't exist.
Right?
This woman,
The hunter
what
doesn't
in
exist.
the hell is wrong with you? Where are these
Well-
people coming from? Or non-existent
Okay.
people? These are stories that are in his head. I'm telling you.
They have
I'm
to be.
telling
I
you.
swear.
So this is your therapy hour and a half. We tricked you. This is an intervention, Darren.
Well, see, there's a line out of the Mothman prophecies.
Okay.
And it's my favorite line of any movie. You noticed them, and they noticed that you noticed them. And basically the whole point of that line was
Ooh, I like that.
exactly because Richard Gere's character had noticed the Mothman. Now the Mothman had noticed that Richard Gere was paying attention. Then you can take that back to John Keel. He paid attention. They basically, I don't want to say they made his life a living hell, but
Right.
there came a point when he started to disown everything that he had written about it.
See? Honey, we're going to have to watch Mothman Prophecies tonight.
But
Date night.
so I think what the thing is that because I am curious about the other side, because that's the way I was brought up.
Oh, yeah, me too.
My grandmother would tell me tales of Arkansas and the legends and all the backwoods tales. And I grew
Wait
up.
a minute. I lived there. Okay, Tennessee, but same thing, right?
But, so growing up with ghosts and knowing everything, you tend to notice things.
Right.
So then, as you're going on through life, you start noticing things. Then they noticed that we noticed. So
Yeah.
now it's just random people showing up,
Trying to.
pass along the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
That
want to
is
say
so
Men in
interesting,
Black,
though.
but Men in Black.
Yeah. Or woman
it-
in the store.
Yeah.
In this case, right?
Yeah, but it's just
So wait a minute. So now we have no chance of talking to that lady because
unless I find her. I shop at Fred Meyer's all the time.
So you remember what she looks like,
A little bit.
Uh-oh.
and you shop there all the time. You haven't seen her since. So,
Haven't seen her
but you know
since.
what? That's okay. If lady at Fred Meyer in Scappoose, if you're listening or watching, please, if you recognize this gentleman here,
Get in touch
and
with
you
him.
see him at Fred Meyer, or if you are watching, get in touch with him on the show. So or anybody else for that matter. If you've seen Dogman or Bigfoot in your area, and you'd like to come on the show and talk about it, please get a hold of us.
And where can they find us?
They can talk. They can talk to us. You can get a hold of us on talkcastPDX.com, or you can get a hold of us through actually our own page, which is Paranormal Crossings.
Paranormal
Oh, yeah,
Crossings. Yeah. And then our branch offs.
our individual teams, which
Absolutely.
NW Paranormal Investigative Team, Facebook, GAPS, which is Guardian Angel Paranormal Society, and
DBK and Investigations.
Yeah.
that's right. And we'll post all that on our Facebook page, but Paranormal Crossings Into the Light
is the main one.
Facebook page. You can get a hold of us through there too. So send us a message. And that's definitely something that we want to do is get our audience participation and interaction. if you have some other ideas of topics that you'd like us to discuss or you'd like to discuss with us, feel free to do that as well. We'd be more than happy to include those in our show. So,
Right.
but yeah, we've got a lot of
Well-
great guests coming up and topics and things like that.
Well,
So,
Since I'm blowing your minds.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
Pisgah House was abandoned in the 40s.
Right.
Okay? And again, random conversation. This time, of course, I know who told me because it was my mother. At a birthday party, my mother turns around and goes, I was at Pisgah House in 1955 when it was still standing, and it just looked like everyone had left their stuff and walked out to go to church. Plates were on the table, books were there, clothes were there.
Wasn't she in high school at the time?
Yeah.
They went up there or something? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So her stepdad took her up there to take a look around.
That was just creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, just to see everything abandoned like that. It reminds me of that A-frame on the way up to St. Helens, Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
And, obviously the people lived and stuff, but just creepy where you can peek through the window and see everything still at the table and, because they left in such a hurry. But,
Well-
man, why would they abandon? That's the mystery. Why would they abandon it?
Why was the house abandoned
Yeah.
up at Pisgah? A lot of people say it was because of the fact that the minute that Mama Lawrence died,
Yeah.
all the funding went away.
Right.
But even if you got all the funding on, you still
Why
have a
wouldn't you
house
get your
full of people.
stuff? Yeah, get your stuff. Or
But here's what I'm thinking. Somebody had brought up at once upon a time, oh, well, maybe it was Bigfoot that scared him away.
Mm.
But what if it was dogmen? Because dogmen are just canines,
yeah,
a canine human.
right.
They've been known to attack people. They're scarier.
Yeah.
So if the dogmen are up there and they're fighting with the Bigfoot, what happened in the 40s? Maybe the dogmen were the most alpha, the most dominant cryptid in the area,
Yeah.
and
Could
people
be.
were cut off, and
Yeah, could be.
then they decided just, I don't need my razor, I don't need any clothes, I'm getting out of here before the giant 8-foot wolf eats my face.
And they didn't even call Bigfoot back then. They called him Ape Man. So, yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of makes you wonder about these things,
yeah.
And then I mean, just the random people that just seem to show up to give me the information I need, and then they're like, part is over.
And I didn't even know that there were any dogman sightings out here in Oregon. Not in Oregon. This is the first I've heard of it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I was going to say it's the first I've heard of it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard
Had
about
you
it
Before,
about a month ago
from somebody totally different.
from somebody totally different other than the lady.
Interesting. Here in Oregon. If you have heard of any sightings or have had sightings yourself, please let us know. We're really curious to know if anybody else locally has heard of any sightings of dogmen. Dogman or dogman? I don't know. But maybe you can correct me. So, but I am totally fascinated by all this stuff, which I don't know why nobody has even, I don't recall anybody in the past since I've been involved with the Oregon Ghost Conference that has even brought this up or did a talk on Dogman before.
Well, I know
So-
the majority of the cases are back east.
Exactly.
the
That's
Beast
why
Bray
I'm so
Road,
fascinated by this. Yeah.
Southern Florida.
Right.
I mean, it's just more like on the eastern seaboard. But apparently there have just been a couple random dogman sightings around Scappoose, Columbia County, just random, hunters going out.
But why couldn't there be? I mean, look at our vast forests here. Look up in Washington, the vast forest up there. I mean, anything is possible here. I mean, so much of it is unexplored anyway. We can't possibly explore all of it. All of
Yeah.
it. There's just no way. So, I mean, where's DB Cooper? Hello. But, I mean, there's so much out there that we don't know. So and look at the wildfires and everything else that's happening, and that has happened, that could be drawing
Them out.
some of these creatures out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see if anybody else has seen anything else, I mean, Zebra Man, who knows? I don't
Well,
know.
next time somebody comes to me with something,
Kangaroo Man. I don't know. So,
I feel like I just need to put a body cam on 24/7.
yeah.
I just walk around and be like, okay,
Yeah.
you're telling me You've seen the Loch Ness Monster in the Columbia River.
You should.
You need to tell me now. I need details. Don't just tell me something. Oh yeah, I feed Bigfoot in my backyard, and they like the apples the most. They really like Granny Smith. And okay, bye.
Right. But Dogman just, he wants some too. So he and Bigfoot family, they're all fighting with each other. I just still can't get over that. It blows my mind.
I think the Dogmen aren't so much there to eat. I think they're there just for the territory. For
they just want to fight.
Yeah. They're just, from the sounds of it. Oh yeah, the Bigfoot were throwing rocks and no.
But Dogman from was it Bray Road?
Yeah. Bray Road.
From what I understand, it looks like a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do we know it's not a werewolf?
Don't know.
And why are we not calling it a werewolf instead of
Dogman?
And why are we not calling Dogman here not werewolf? Could be.
Well, it was also during the daylight, apparently.
Well, maybe
I mean, if she's
a hybrid.
If she's sitting out on her back porch and she's watching these
new
two
form
parties,
of freaking COVID, who knows? I don't know. Who cares?
I don't know. It's just weird.
It's just, it is weird. I'm just so fascinated. I want to know more about it. Yeah, that's it. I want to know more about it now.
I'm just in awe that she would sit there and just keep feeding these, Bigfoot and all that, and the Dogman.
I mean,
why?
The Bigfoot. I understand.
Just entertainment.
I mean, I've talked to others from I met a gentleman who was part of this Bigfoot group here locally. This was years ago, and he told me stories about a neighbor of his lives out in Scappoose, many acres up in Scappoose, who his neighbor was feeding Bigfoot, and then the next day it had rained, and the next day she saw not just big Bigfoot prints, but baby Bigfoot prints.
That might actually be the family that we found.
Might be the same lady. I don't know. But one of the people from that group I'm going to talk to, who I discussed with you guys, I can't mention him because I haven't talked to him yet, but I would like him to be a guest on the show because he started a group here in Portland, which involves Bigfoot and beer. So, hey, I'd love to learn more about this whole phenomenon here in Oregon. I mean, if you think about it, there is, and the same thing with UFOs and aliens, there's so much going on, and we would be naive to believe we're the only ones here.
Right.
Well,
I mean, think about it. Come on.
A future show, we might have to talk about the UFO that was in St. Helens.
Why future?
There's audio.
Why future?
Why is it all happening in St. Helens and Scappoose?
We need to move, James.
Right?
We just need to move to either Scappoose or St. Helens.
Sounds a little more exciting down there.
I know.
Well, if we do it on a future show, I can get the audio.
Okay. Then we'll do it on a future show. That's your mission. So
Okay.
you're going to take care of that. And then our mission is to listen. And we'll have Andrew bring the popcorn. And so we'll be snacking, listening, and enjoying. So, but no, we've got to definitely cover all that time. And that was the whole point to us doing this show in the first place, or putting together Paranormal Crossings Into the Light. This is a whole new ball game because we wanted to cover everything under the paranormal umbrella. And so my wife and I were talking about the show and just, kind of bouncing some ideas. This is before we all met the other night and discussed other ideas. And man, there's so many things that we can cover and discuss with others regarding crystals and the paranormal, the moon and the paranormal, just so much. And, the whole thing with COVID, how it just knocked everything. I call it knocking it off kilter, but off balance. And so many techniques that we can use that I'd like to bring in guests to help maybe coach people on how to center themselves and how to balance themselves. Because when you're off balance, everything in your life goes awry. And I know that for a fact and from experience. And so, we've all had things happen in life, but especially with all this stuff that's happened to all of us, in the world. And so there's things that we can do in our lives to make things a little bit better. And it starts with ourselves, healthy mind, healthy body. and it just puts everything into perspective when you're balanced. And so, but we can get more into that on another show.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and then we get some experts on here and say, "Hey, listen, is this normal behavior for Bigfoots just to be eating and fighting with other cryptids?"
And they may say, well, yeah, I have Dogman in my backyard. So you never know. So, yeah.
Yeah, we just need to find experts that know this stuff because we're primarily ghosts and demons and
Yeah.
crazy, haunted dolls.
Which, and that's
Here it comes.
That's another.
I see this
topic.
one coming right
Let
now.
me tell you something. And that's another thing is haunted objects.
Oh, I can bring Abraham in.
We need to discuss that more before we talked about that. But I touched that doll during let me clarify that appropriately during an investigation that we did with you, and that was in St. Helens. Man, we got a lot to talk about in future shows. But yeah, I mean, it just fascinates me, haunted objects, why a spirit wants to, or I don't know if it wants to, but chooses to attach itself to an object, no matter what it is. And so, you got to at some point. We'll talk more about Abraham, because I know it so well by the other name, Annie.
Yeah, we call him Annie. He gets angry.
Yeah.
But see, now we've dropped enough, breadcrumbs and
Exactly.
clues that you have to tune in for the next show
That's
and
right.
the next show and
That's
the
right.
next show.
Yeah.
That's
Feeds.
right.
Because you never know we're gonna bring out of the bag of tricks.
That's right. One of these days, once I get past the, being a minister, I mean, that shouldn't have anything to do with it, but it does. So yeah, it's a little spooky for me. But no, I we did the investigation, or you did the investigation, and we came and helped a little bit, and really enjoyed that, and love to do it again, and looking forward to this October. Man, we got some good stuff coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, man, good ideas for shows coming up, and Andrew doesn't know, but he's in for some treats. Of course, we're talking about our producer that nobody else can see but us. But yeah, it's a new year, gonna be a new year and a new beginning for everybody in the world.
We're back into the light.
Back into the light, and I'm more excited than I've been in a long time. And I know you guys are, and with our teams, and with the show and everything else that's going on, and the Oregon Ghost Conference, that's going to be amazing this next year. Everybody's pumped up that's involved with the Oregon Ghost Conference, because it's going to be bigger, better, badder this year, this next year. It sounds like the $6 million man. Yeah, I mean, everything's going to be so much better now, and if we can all just work together, and we've gotten through this, and I feel bad that those that can't be with us today because they couldn't make it, through it, and so I pray for those families, but in the end, we are stronger now as a whole, I believe, because we've been through some stuff. We have all been through some stuff now. But I think in the long run, here we are, and sticking together, we came out stronger. And so we always do,
Yep.
and so, but hey, it's about to be the 4th of July tomorrow. And
You got any plans?
you know what? It's our grandson's first birthday. And so, happy birthday, Jackson. Love you, bud. And so we're going to spend some time with him and watch him smash cake into his face, which is always fun for a 1-year-old. But yeah, just spend time with family. So what about you?
Not much. Just going to sit at the house. We're talking about going ahead and doing a barbecue. And
Now you're going to do it.
We're thinking about it, yeah.
All right. So we're going to James's after. We'll put up the address after the show for everybody. But no, I'm just kidding. What about you?
I'm just going to go down and watch the fireworks in St. Helens.
You can actually do fireworks in St. Helens?
As of this morning, they said they're still doing the fireworks display.
Wow, we're all going to St. Helens then. Yeah, I vote St. Helens.
Hey, that's where all the weird stuff happens.
All right, Andrew, we're going to St. Helens fireworks. All right, perfect. Yeah, it kind of is a bummer with all the bands, but I understand at the same time. It's all about being with family, family and friends, and just hanging out, and just enjoying each other's company. So, yeah. But yeah, July 4th, baby. Oh my gosh. We have one other birthday in our family, I found out. My grandfather, my father's father, who's passed away since 1951, but was born July 4th, 1895. Can you imagine celebrating a birthday in the late 1800s, the turn of the century? Are you kidding how spectacular that would have been?
Absolutely.
To celebrate back in those days, back in the pioneers, right? I mean, that just would have been crazy. So, well, thank you everybody for tuning in and spending some time with us on Paranormal Crossings Into the Light with my brothers, James Mitchell and Darren Scholl. And we're going to be back live every Saturday. So mark your clocks and set your timers for 2 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll be with you every Saturday. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.